Hey everybody, doing a little less formal video this week. Not really historical perspective, but more just like a vlog and a few announcements, and I have a book review. I am going to get to a book review which is historically related here in a moment. First off, a couple announcements. The YouTube channel went over 100 subscribers, and so yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that. It's nice to know as you do this work there are people who watch it and appreciate enough to hit the little subscribe button. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate that. I always try and get out content there for people to watch, and the fact that people watch and appreciate enough to do that is a very nice thing. So hey, I'm over 100 now, and thank you very much for that. And secondly, no matter what show you watch, Historical Perspective or Tea with Wallace or Big Black Hat Man's Western Movie Show or The Old Western Thought, you know, it's nice. And recently, I was actually asked to do sort of a Western movie show again, to do a review of a movie, and to that person, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I haven't done one in so long that I sort of just the idea of it was sort of like a stumbling block. I wasn't sure. Believe it or not, I've been so long. I didn't even try to go about it, and so maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I've got a few other things in motion that I've got to take care of over the next few weeks. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know, but it's an idea. I've always kind of thought to myself, well, maybe one of these days I'll go back and review a few Western movies again. And the opportunity brought to me was very clever and would be very apropos, considering the year that it is. I'm thinking about it. Like that's the best I can do right now, and it's in my mind. And so maybe Big Black Hat Man's Western Movie Show will make a comeback at some point in a few videos. It's from week to week. I kind of decide what I'm going to do. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants on these shows. I don't really plan out well ahead of time what show I'm going to do when, which is probably bad. I should probably sit down and just write out a schedule for myself. But yeah, I just have fun doing it. Enjoy making these videos, and I hope people enjoy watching them. That's kind of my goal in life with these videos. So 100 subscribers. Maybe the Big Black Hat Man's Western Movie Show comes back. Not sure. And I don't really have anything else to say except for okay, let's go straight into the book review. My friend MovieFan12 recommended I read Disney During World War II. I just read the title off the screen in front of me. For some reason I keep wanting to call this book Disney and World War II, but it's Disney During World War II. It's by John Baxter, and the book just covers what the Disney Studios did during World War II, and it's a pretty good read. And I admit, like the very first chapter, which is they have the introduction and then the first chapter in here, and right off the bat I kind of thought, man, John Baxter is being a little overly enthusiastic about Walt's World War II contributions. Walt Disney actually did go out of his way to try to not make any profits off the films he did for World War II. He tried not to really profiteer off the war or take money from the government that he didn't need to make the films, which he wasn't the only one who did that in that era, but I appreciate the fact that he did do that, and Baxter's a little enamored with that, and it's times it feels like he's really overly praising Disney Studios in the first part of the book. But as the book goes along, it's a much more balanced view, and the book is actually really good in terms of how it treats Walt Disney's contributions. The training films are the first part, and that's his most laudatory chapter, where he's really high on the training films, and it goes into some really interesting things. The propaganda films, of course, is one of the more interesting chapters, as he talks about Victory Through Air, which was Disney's big production during this period, and he goes into the problems with the film and the criticisms of it, and that's one of the more interesting portions. I'd heard of the film, I knew it existed, but I didn't really have the detail that I got out of this book. That was one of the more interesting portions of the book to me. And a lot of this other stuff here, the De Fuhrer's Face and some of the other shorts I've definitely seen and was well aware of. And let's see here, keep kind of flipping through, and we have the insignia stuff, which the insignia stuff is interesting. You know, all the battalions in World War II, Canadian, American, had little insignias to represent themselves, and there you go. See, there's a whole bunch of them that they did, and Disney would sort of provide their characters as a way to sort of make the insignias unique. You know, here's your Donald Duck or your Goofy or your Pinocchio or whatever insignia, whatever the group requested. They would send a letter request. You know, we would like your Disney artist to draw an insignia for us, and they would do that. And so, you know, I think Warner Brothers also did this, if I remember correctly. I I'd have to look that up. I don't know that for sure, but I do think I remember seeing World War II Warner Brothers insignias as well. But it's a nice little service that they provided for the servicemen in that era. And then, of course, there's a long chapter on Gremlins, which is a feature they tried to make about World War II, a feature animated film in that era. And probably the most interesting thing about Gremlins is it was suggested and written by Roald Dahl, the British author who was an airman in this era. And Walt was really high on it. Roald Dahl was really high on it. Everybody really kind of wanted to make this thing work, but it was just one of those ideas that just didn't work into a Disney film. And I actually I have another book up here called The Irregulars, which is about spies in World War II and the British. The British actually did some spy work here in America before America entered, and a little bit after. But Roald Dahl was one of them. And so I'd already read a little bit about this project. I knew that Dahl tried to work with Disney on the project, and it just doesn't work. I mean, they tried to do this project together. Everybody wanted this project to happen on some level, but eventually it just became clear that there was not a way to make this project feasible. So that was as close as Roald Dahl, I believe, ever got to working with Disney really on a big project. And it's kind of too bad this movie never came to be. I mean, they have huge sequences of a short, because eventually it fell back to being a short, went from a feature film to a short. And they actually drew up the entire short, but it never happened. The only Gremlin shorts from that era there were some Warner Brothers ones, but Disney actually at one point was like, please don't do that because we're trying to make our own thing. And the guys at Warner Brothers actually considered their properties as well. A little respect back and forth between the two studios. But regardless, the point is that Baxter's book, Disney During World War II, he clearly had a lot of inside information on it. It is a little auditory, but it does a decent job of balancing that back out. And it's a good book. It's a good read, and I really enjoyed the fact that I picked this one up. And thanks to MovieFan12 for the recommendation. And, so if you ever wanted to read anything on this particular subject, here it is in a very nice form. So anyway, that's all for this week, guys. I made those couple announcements. Thanks to everybody once again for watching and subscribing. And you know what? Have a great day.